Hello everybody, this is Solar Tiger here with another video, and today this video is going to be about model railways, as this is one of my other hobbies. So everybody's familiar with the electric train set that they've had when they was a child, and the most common scale of train set is 00HO, which is the most common type of train set that you get in toy shops and basically non-specialist shops, sort of train sets that you get for Christmas, are of this gauge. The only problem with this gauge is that if you want to have a continuous loop, you need a lot of space, and I don't have lots of space, so I am going with N gauge. So this is N gauge, and if I pull the train over to here, you can see the difference in size between the N gauge and the 00HO gauge. Now, the N gauge models are half the size of the 00 gauge ones, but the N gauge is more expensive as they're only sold in specialist model shops and online, whereas the 00 gauge ones are sold in toy shops, sort of big box retail stores, and they are more common and they are cheaper, but you need more space. So anyway, I am building a layout on a shelf. This shelf is approximately 3.5 foot long, and I'll probably will put another shelf on this wall here to extend the layout, and if I wanted to I can put another shelf over there. So I bought my locomotive and 5 wagons. There are only 3 here, but I bought 5 in a bundle for about £30. And when I bought it, the locomotive was a non-runner, but it just needed the pickup to be adjusted, and now it runs fine. So I bought various bits of track off of eBay in different lots, and I've been playing around with it, trying to come up with a track plan. I've got some more bits in this box here, but N gauge stuff is more expensive than the 00 gauge stuff, especially on eBay. There are lots of second-hand 00 gauge locos and track and stuff that's quite cheap, but because I need to save on space, I am using the N gauge, and N gauge is more expensive, so I'm just keeping my eye out for good deals and buying bits at a time. So after playing around with the track for a couple of days, this is what I've come up with, and I'm happy now with what I have. So if I reverse the train out of the way a second. Right, this is what I'm thinking of at the moment. So I'm thinking of having a station right here. I have a passing loop so that the locomotive can go around the train to couple it at the opposite end. And I have a siding here which I'm thinking of putting an engine shed on. The siding at the back I'm going to just put a buffer stop on it for the moment, but that's my way of extending it out on this side. Over this side at the moment I have a very simple fiddle yard, basically just 2 lanes and a point, although in future the track on that side I'll probably just put a curve on it to go onto the next board over here, and on this siding I might put a factory or something on, I don't know, it's evolving. The idea I was having was to have this as a branch line to go around here to a sort of mainline terminus, and I have a bay platform that serves the branch line. That's what I'm thinking of, but that's forward planning. So I have 4 points at the moment. These are manual points, and at the moment I'm going to keep them manual. Although obviously at a later date you could obviously add point motors. The track is Pico set track. N gauge, so there's 9mm between the tracks on N gauge, and 16.5mm between the tracks on OOHO gauge. So this track is nickel silver, which means it won't rust, which is a problem with ordinary steel track. This OO gauge track at the back here is steel. You can see it's a different colour, and after a while it does rust, especially if it gets damp, and then the trains make poor contact with the track and you have to clean it, otherwise your trains will stop. But the nickel silver track avoids this. You have to clean it a lot less often. So what I've done at the moment is I've just steadied the track with bits of blue tack, as I'm happy with the layout I have now. I have ordered some ballast, and I will have a go at ballasting it soon. So this locomotive is a southern locomotive. Although I have bought a new body for a GWR body to make it a GWR locomotive, as it's a lot easier to find accessories for GWR railways, such as locos and wagons, etc. are easier to find for the Great Western Railway than for the Southern Railway. So that's what I'm doing. The body cost me £7.50, and it'll be a straight swap. This is a Graham Farish locomotive, and it's a well-known brand amongst N-gauge stuff. But there are N-gauge models made by Hornby and Fleshman and Cato and many other brands, but the N-gauge stuff is much dearer than the HO gauge stuff. But I need to save space, so I'm building my layout on a shelf. This shelf is about 3.5 foot long by approximately 8 foot wide. I mean 8 inches wide. And I have it above my workbench, and I want to keep the workbench clear for my other hobbies that I have. So the railway is going to be restricted to the shelf. So along here and all the way up across here, I'm pretty much going to put a shelf here, and I may put a shelf on that side as well. So the trains are powered by 12 volts DC, and the track is connected to a DC control unit. This is a fairly oldish unit. There's a Hammond and Morgan DC controller. It has terminals on the back which you connect to the track, and terminals on the side that you would normally connect to your transformer or power supply, because normally you run it off the wall socket. Now this is a separate controller, and I have a separate power supply, but you can buy models that have the transformer and controller in one unit. I'm running mine off of DC, and instead of using a 12 volt transformer, I'm running mine off of 12 volt batteries, because I have a 12 volt solar power system that charges up storage batteries. So I have a ready supply of 12 volts from batteries. So they are solar charged from the sun. So my layout runs on batteries, and there are not many plug sockets in this room and they're hard to get to. So my system is all DC, and my railway is going to be an off-grid powered railway, so powered by batteries. Now, when I was playing around with this originally, I even ran the train set off of AA batteries. I had a holder for 10 AA batteries and it ran my trains fine. So you can run your trains on batteries, but most people will run their trains off of a 12-volt transformer and a controller, and some people, there are combined units as well. So this is simple. You have 12 volts from your mains transformer, goes into the controller. The controller is connected to the track by cables, and you basically just turn the knob one way to make the train go forward, and the further you turn the knob the faster your train goes, and the same vice versa when you turn the knob in the reverse direction. So that's how that works. So I am going to name my layout Solarton on the basis that it's run on a solar power system. So I'm going to have a station here with the passing loop. I have this siding here which I'm going to put an engine shed on. I have a siding over there that I can easily use to extend the layout, and I have a two-way fiddle yard here, but in future one track will go around to the other board, and then this other siding can have a factory or something on it. I'm not sure yet, as this is the very early stages of my layout. I will be getting some ballast soon, and then I will try my hand at ballasting the track. So this part of the room is very dark, and you can see it's brightly lit, and what I'm using, I'm not going to point you right at the light, but I have a cheap LED floodlight that I bought from eBay. It's a 10 watt 12 volt DC floodlight, and that's running from my 12 volt solar power system, which is the same system that is running the train, and it provides a lot of light with not much power consumption. So I am buying my stuff off eBay, so I'm spending lots of time looking at what's on eBay and buying up cheap lots. Also, because I'm mainly interested in the steam era, so I have a steam locomotive, but these wagons here, especially these two, are fairly modern. So if I'm going with the steam era, I will need to buy some steam era wagons from that time, so that it will look sensible when I run the trains. And this is the first in the series of videos as I develop my layout. As I said, I want to keep the workbench clear, so the layout is confined to the shelf, and I will be collecting things in due course, and I will make videos as my layout progresses. So this is Solar Tiger saying thank you for watching, and why not view the other videos on my channel to see what other hobbies I am into. I'm into electronics, fish keeping, model railways, solar power, and that kind of thing. I also do review some electronic items as well. So if you like what you see, please comment and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Thank you.